Sorry, I'm recording this. I'm not. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Oh, you're on. Are you on a phone? Oh, that makes it more complicated. This will give me good B-roll for editing. So. Oh, that's good.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Look at that modern technology.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Lovely.
Kids. Where's the camera? Our camera is like kind of weird.
There.
Oh, there it is.
Going into this conversation, I have no idea where it's going to go. I'm going to need a roadmap to know where we end up on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad it worked out finally. You guys have been so busy and been all over the place. We're just thrilled to be able to sit down and talk to you a little bit. Now, I'm trying to figure out how many tours you did total. You think it's like, what did you say, 23?
I think it was 23. Yeah.
And most of those were directing.
Yeah, most. Yeah. I mean, I had to do 21 through the prison sentence, and then another 2. You can cut that bit out. No, I'm just joking. No, it was 23. 23.
23. And Karen, you did how many?
I
I only know the ones you did with us.
think 6 total.
6 total.
Yeah.
So somewhere in all that, Continentals must have taught you something to keep you coming back. And what I want to talk about is how does it show up in what you're doing now, and tell us what you're doing.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Well, I was in public music education for 15 years. And so there are obvious ways that was used, I think, of course, because I think it set I just learned how important it is to set a high bar. Mm-hmm. And when a high bar is set, then whoever it is that you're educating or teaching, they'll reach it. But if you set a low bar, they'll reach that as well. So I feel like there was such an excellence that was taught to me through Continentals, and I tried to incorporate that into my teaching. And so I think that's probably the answer to that one. Right now, I did have my position was cut in the public music system. So had to reinvent myself in my mid-50s, which I don't recommend ever doing. That was hard. So I'm now a flight attendant. So I'm doing that. And I think the biggest thing, every day I meet thousands of people, I feel like, in a day. Yeah. And Continentals definitely taught me how to engage with people and how to have a conversation with people and how to ask other people about themselves and get conversation going and learn people's stories and give out ham sandwiches.
It's true. There is an overlap there.
Huge overlap. Yeah. No, but I think it really taught. I was thinking actually today about that. We had the great opportunity to take our kids on an encore tour with us. And they have even said that they learned through all that how to talk to people and how to see different people from different cultures. And it was a really great learning experience. And I was thinking about that today, but that's really what I do every day. I meet thousands of people from all different walks of life. And it's really fun to just be able to go back to my Continental days when we were always meeting new people. And it really I think it taught me a lot about that.
Well, I think if you remember, Karen started off with saying that she was a high bar, and I was that high bar. No? Okay. Anyway.
Wait, you sure you don't want to stay on that topic? Because we have to weigh in maybe on that.
This is a marriage counseling session, isn't it? No, so when I finished Continentals, I finished Continentals over here because I came over to the US to direct Jeremiah People. And so I stayed in the US, of course, married Karen. And then Dave Chrisman and I started our own 2-man show called Mad Dogs and Englishmen, later on Theatre Off the Cuff. And we did 15 years on the road with that. It was actually 15, yeah. For anybody who remembers Jim Custer and Bob Hoose, we were going to be the youth alternative.
Yeah. It's funny now, isn't it?
What happened?
Yeah, that's it. 23 tours, that's what happened. And so we went out on the road, and now for the last 13 years, I went back to what I did in England before coming over here, and that's just working in professional theatre. So I've been very lucky, professional theatre both here and in different parts of the world as well, doing different shows. And I think the thing about what Continental has taught me was, excellence. I mean, there has to be excellence, and you have to strive for that. And whether it was in our performances that we did every night, or and also having that compassion for people. I work in a profession that is very much all about I, me, what I can get out of it. So it's a bit, it can be tough, and you try and think of other people as well. So it was a tremendous learning experience, and throughout the last few years, I've met many Continentals that are also in the profession as well, which has made it really fun.
Right.
That's cool.
What are some of some kind of the nuggets that you took away from the experience in terms of concepts or things you learned from certain directors? You know, Karen, who was your favorite director, for example?
Well, for example,
Yeah.
well, come on.
She said John Eric. I remember that.
I'm always losing out to John Eric.
Oh my gosh, of course.
John
You,
Eric was mine too.
Jim Schmidt, the famous Jim Schmidt. No, I was very fortunate to tour with amazing directors. I started with Dan Whitehead and toured with you a couple times, toured with John Eric several times. I was very fortunate. I think, let me think here. So probably the biggest nugget, and this would be from, I'm sorry, but this is from John Eric.
Of course.
But what happened, we were setting up, we were in an itty bitty church. We were trying to get all of the equipment in. The rhythm section was trying to get everything together, and there just wasn't room. There was not room for us. And John Eric was doing his thing. We were all stressed out, trying to get everything figured out. And we went to him and we said, we can't do this. And he looked at us and he said, if you need to break the piano in half, make it work. And we didn't have to break the piano in half, but we did make it work. And I think that lesson, for some reason, has just stuck with me, that when we get stuck somewhere where we don't see a solution, then we need to create a solution or find a solution. If there's not one, then we need to be creative and come up with something, a way to do it. And I was so mad at John Eric that day. I remember having to walk around the parking lot a couple times. So I was just like, oh, but I love him so much. And that is something that has really stuck with me through mothering, through education, through flight attending, all of it. I just think we all face problems all the time, and there's always a solution for every problem.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think that's very true. One of the other things I did when I left Continentals was I was a producer for live events. I worked for 10 years with the organization MOPS, Mothers of Preschool Children. So I
as a producer, I need to tell you to move a little closer to Karen, because you're cutting off your see what happens there.
That's it. Well, this is the best shot. There we go. Just
Fair point.
You've seen my work. Yeah. No, so with MOPS, it was the lesson I always learned about, you never just threw things at, they always tried to work something out and try and work out the problems. And I remember many times we would, we'd have these live events, maybe 5,000-6,000 people, and we wouldn't practice something. And that was always the thing that went wrong. And I always remember it used to drive me a bit crazy when I first started, when Cam, and actually yourself as well, but that's neither here nor there, would talk about the transitions. It was always the transitions and to make it smooth and make it great. And then I realized, wow, that is a great concept. And it really works. I think it works in life as well. Finding those smooth and those transitions, like I said, in Karen's profession, in my profession, I deal with many, just all over the board where people are coming from, and it's trying to be able to smooth those transitions. I always try and be, have fun and be positive with people, and then try and work out those solutions, because it's always, well, you work in the profession, right? It's always one big headache after another if you're not careful.
You were with the British Continentals, right, Colin?
Oh, well, I started with the British Continentals. Yeah, I started by. It's funny enough, it was in 1982. We had there are two friends from England. We went to Florida, and one night our host, the people we're staying with, said, "Well, there's this concert. Let's go and see it." And we went and saw it, and it was the Continental Orchestra.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I went up and talked to them afterwards. They said, "Well, you're British. you'll have to go through the British office. And that's what I did. I started in 1984 with the British Continentals.
And then you came over and conquered America and
Exactly.
most of the tours here.
Many people will know, the 4th of July, 1776 is Thanksgiving Day in England. So I would come back, that's the old stuff, keep doing the old material. 3 years I worked in with the Latin Continentals.
Really?
3 years. And spoke not a word.
I've forgotten that.
Didn't speak a word of Spanish. It was great. It was really good. I don't know what they were saying. They didn't know what I was saying. It was brilliant. No, 3 years. They were actually some of my favorite times because they were just amazing. It was just amazing musicians. We had such a great time. And
as you look back over the expanse of your Continental experience, what are you most grateful for?
That's a big question.
Have you ever wished you could gift your life-changing Continental experience to someone else? Well, you can. Your monthly giving can make a huge impact for our teams all over the world. Did you know that this year, we'll have more than 20 Continental groups on the road, communicating in 7 different languages? The Continental story goes on, so keep writing your part of it by being on our support team. And our groups will say, thank you, in 7 different languages.